You want a prince? You marry a goat. Stay there until the sun burns you clean. Oh, dang!
When the lantern glows, the story begins. Market days always felt like magic to me. Even before the sun lifted its head, I could hear the women outside balancing baskets, their voices rising like birds at dawn. Children dashed about barefoot, chasing their shadows, laughing so loud the goats complained. But on this day, my parents didn't take me to the market. Instead, we turned away from the road and walked into the forest.
Before the others ruined the ground, we will gather mushrooms and break a say.
Ma said, tying her scarf tighter. My father winked at me.
Only if you don't talk the trees to death. Agudie.
I laughed, my anklets answering for me, each step a soft chime against the earth. The deeper we went, the quieter the world became. The air was thick, even the leaves seemed to hold their breath. Then, slap! A scream tore through the stillness. My father dropped, his leg twisted, caught inside iron jaws with teeth sharper than anything I'd ever seen. Blood stained the soil and leaves before I could blink.
Papa!
Ma lunged forward. Snap! Another trap. Her waist. The sound it made was like wood splitting. She fell beside him, her intuma darkening too quickly. I couldn't scream. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. My feet moved before I knew it, carrying me to her side. My small hands tugged at the rusted metal, desperate, foolish. Then, snap! Pain, unlike fire, unlike stone, unlike anything I ever knew. Something closed around my right hand, crashing, stealing breath straight from my chest. The sound that came out of me wasn't a cry. It was something raw, broken. I can't even describe it. I don't remember how long I screamed. I only remember the iron taste in the air, the smell of blood, and the silence that followed. When Mommy came later with men from the stream, both my parents were still and silent. Their bodies would never rise again. My hand was bound, but I knew the forest had claimed it. 2 days later, they buried them beneath the silk cotton tree at the edge of the village. The elders feared that tree. Children dared each other to touch and then ran away screaming. That was where my parents were laid. The oldest woman poured gin on the heap of the sand. Most of it missed, spilling onto the earth. The smell rose sharp in the air. The women wailed until their voices broke. Dust rose as bodies bent into mist torn, voices thrown to the sky. I sat still, empty. The noise moved past me as though I was carved from wood. When the wailing thinned, I noticed her. Besa. She had been there the whole time, standing behind the elders. My father's sister, my aunt. Her face was dry, untouched by grief. She kept whispering to the woman beside her, short, sharp words that made them glance at me before looking away quickly. When the oldest woman finished pouring gin at the roots, silence stretched across the crowd, the kind of silence that demands someone to speak. Besa stepped forward then. It felt as if she had been waiting for this moment. Her eyes swept the space once, then fixed on the chief. Her voice carried a hypocritical calm.
So, who takes the girl?
The chief cleared his throat, but no words came. The other elders shifted, one staring at the ground, another pretending to fast with his cloth. No one wanted to answer. The silence grew heavy. I felt her eyes on me then, long, searching, sharp enough to make me curl tighter into myself. When no one spoke, she ended it herself.
If none of you will, then I will,
she said, her tone slicing through the still air. Heads turned. No one argued. It was as if the decision had already been made before the words were even spoken. And just like that, I was hers. The first evening in Besa's compound, I kept to the corner. Adwa and Sewa sat on low stools, painting their lips red with the powder they had crushed earlier. Their giggles filled the air like little bells, but their eyes kept sliding toward me, watching, measuring. Mommy had followed us to make sure I settled in. She stood at the hearth, murmuring softly as she unpacked the small bundle of food she'd brought. When she turned to leave, she bent low and stroked my head.
Agudie, be strong,
she whispered. The sound of my name was a balm, soft and familiar. I hadn't realized how much I had longed to hear it until then. But before the warmth could settle in me, Besa's voice cracked through the compound like thunder.
Agudie.
Her stool scrubbed against the ground as she stood. Her presence filled the yard.
Did you just call her Agudie?
She backed at Mommy, her voice rising enough for neighbors to hear.
Treasure. Treasure for what? Treasure where?
The daughters stilled, their smiles curling into wicked grins. Mommy froze, her mouth opening, then closing again. Besa turned to me, her fingers stabbing the air.
Look at her. Look at this girl. A hand burned like rotten wood. A good-for-nothing mute. A burden that fell on my head without warning. And you dare call her treasure?
Her voice grew sharper. The words flung like stones. Neighbors leaned over the mud wall, peering in. Children gathered as well. The compound itself seemed to listen.
From this day, she is no Agudie. That name is buried with her parents.
Besa thundered. She paused, letting the silence thicken. Then she spat the word that cut me open.
She is Abaawa, slave. That is her name now. That is all she will ever be.
Gasps rippled through the bystanders. Someone muttered, "Eee!" Adjoa and Sewa burst into laughter, clapping their hands as if it were a performance. I sat frozen, my head bowed, the words sinking deep into me. Inside, I repeated the name my mother had given me. Agudie, Agudie, Agudie. But in the air around me, in Besa's voice, I had been renamed, and no one in that moment challenged her. Life in Besa's compound did not belong to me. Each dawn, before the roosters crowed, I was already awake, sweeping the yard with a broom taller than myself. The dust clung to my legs, turning my skin pale. By the time Adjoa and Sewa opened their eyes, I had fetched water from the stream, balanced in heavy pots that bent my shoulders. When food was cooked, the choicest pieces went into their bowls. What remained, yam peels, fish bones, scraps of contumely, was pushed toward me. I ate quickly before the dust could snatch it away. I scrubbed their instruments on stones until my knuckles bled. I pounded cassava while they painted their lips and laughed, their laughter sharp as cowrie shells clinking. Sometimes, when they grew bored, they whispered just loud enough for me to hear. They said it's like a chant, their voices laced with delight at how easily the word fits. Neighbors began to call me that too. When I passed with the pot on my head, women at the well would shake their heads and mutter. Children sometimes threw pebbles at me and ran. Inside Besa's house, I was invisible, unless there was work to be done. If I paused to rest, her voice cracked like a whip.
Have you finished? Do you think food will cook itself?
I tried to keep small, to make myself unseen, but there was no hiding. Even when I stayed silent in the corner, their eyes always found me. Some nights, when everyone else had gone to sleep, I lay awake on the mat near the hearth, staring at the flickering shadows on the wall. My chest ached with words I never spoke. I thought of Maya's voice, calling me Agudie while she bathed me. I thought of Papa's smile, the way his eyes had softened whenever I sang too loudly. Those memories felt like water in a desert. The only thing that kept me alive in a place where I was treated as less than nothing. In Besa's compound, I was not a daughter, not a niece, not even a girl with a name of her own. I was Abaawa, and they made sure I never forgot it. On this night, The fire had burned low, the flames small and restless, shadows dancing across the walls like spirits at play. I sat alone, knees pulled tight, arms wrapped around myself. The day's work had chewed me hollow, the pounding, the scrapping, the endless fetching. But it wasn't the chores that weighed me down. It was the emptiness after them, when the world grew still and there was nothing left but my thoughts. I heard footsteps and stiffened, expecting Besa's voice, but it wasn't her. It was Nima. She didn't speak. She simply sat down beside me, her presence quiet but steady. The silence between us wasn't heavy anymore. It shifted, softer, like a blanket laid across cold skin. For a long time, we said nothing. The fire cracked, crickets sang somewhere beyond the walls. Then the words slipped from me before I could catch them.
My mother used to call me Inkontompukoko.
I whispered, mischief. The memory stand and warmed me at once.
I would sing during her prayers. She would chase me with a broom, laughing so hard she could barely catch me.
I continued, voice breaking. The firelight wavered, and I swallowed the lamp in my throat.
And now?
I stopped. The rest lodged inside me, too heavy to release. The silence stretched, but it didn't hurt this time. Then Nime's voice came, low, steady, carrying something I hadn't heard since my parents left me.
You are not cursed, Agudie. There's God in you. One day, they'll see it.
She said. My eyes burned, though no tears fell. For the first time in a long while, I blinked with something other than emptiness. It wasn't joy. It wasn't relief. It was belief. Small, trembling, but alive. That night, in the fire's dim glow, I was no one's Abaawa. For a moment, I was Agudie again. The years had slipped by like water, each day the same, rising before dawn, working until the stars filled the sky. By the time the drums came, I was 21. My body had grown, my face sharpened, but inside, I still carried the silence of the girl who once followed her parents into the forest. That morning, the sound struck like thunder. Quack, quack, quack. The drums shook the village awake, heavy and urgent, not the lazy rhythms of moonlight nights, but a call that made even the ghosts raise their heads. Then came the crier.
The prince have come of age. He will choose a maiden, one bride, one queen.
The village erupted. Mothers spilled into the streets, dragging daughters toward the streams. Girls rushed with buckets, scrubbing their skin until it glistened. Old women sharpened advice like blades, hissing warnings and blessings in equal measure. My aunt Besa's compound was no different. Adra and Sewa fluttered about like restless birds, suddenly eager to sweep, to fetch, to serve. Their voices dripped with sweetness, their eyes shining with dreams of gold and cloth. Besa backed orders, her hands busy stringing beads, her eyes sharp as she lectured.
Smile with your eyes. Walk as if the ground is lucky to hold your feet. And for heaven's sake, don't look like coconut sellers.
Neighbors whispered through mad walls, laughter spilling into the streets. The air itself felt swollen with excitement. I sat apart, crouched by the hearth, scrubbing a blackened pot with ashes until my fingers burned. I was no maiden in their eyes, just Abaawa, the servant who had lived in Besa's compound. Yet, the drums beat inside my chest. The crier's words lingered. Bride, queen. When Nima passed by with firewood on her head, I caught her sleeve. My voice came out softer than I meant.
Nima, do you think someone like me would ever be seen?
She turned, her eyes steady on mine, with a firewood drum. For a moment, the world hushed around us, the gossip, the laughter, the orders flying in Besa's voice. Only her voice remained. She said. Her words sank deep, unsettling, staring, Something I thought had been buried years ago. For the first time, I let myself imagine it. Not Abaawa, Agudie, Papebi. The village that night was alive in a way I had never seen. Oil lamps glowed in every corner. Songs spilled from doorways. Each mother teaching her daughter how to sway her hips, how to bow low, but to rise like a queen. The air smelled of shea butter, hot water, fried plantain, laughter and nervous whispers tangled together. And everywhere you turned, hope shone in young eyes. In Besa's compound, the frenzy was louder. Agudie and Sewa sat on low stools, their knees slick with gold, their hairs drunk with cowries. Besa's hands worked quickly, weaving beads into their braids, muttering commands as though each word would shape their future.
Keep your chin high. Smile without showing teeth. Do not walk like women who carry firewood. You must float.
The girls giggled, stealing glances at each other in the mirror propped against the wall. They tilted their heads, practiced poses with hunger from the prince's gaze. I sat on the floor near the kitchen, scrubbing a pot that was already clean, my hands moving only to hide the ache rising in my chest. I watched them, the way Besa leaned close, whispering pride into their ears, the way the sisters laughed together like they were already chosen. I thought of my own mother, who never lived long enough to dress me for a night like this. The ache grew sharp. When the compound finally quieted and Besa's snore rattled like a stubborn goat refusing to lie still, I crept to the old mortar behind the hut. My heart raced as I pulled out the bundle I had hidden there for weeks. Scraps I had gathered in silence, a plain white cloth, one but clean, a string of borrowed beads, a thin hair thread found beneath the neighbor's stool. My hands trembled. As I tied my hair back, I wrapped the dress around myself, smoothing it as though it were silk. The beads clicked softly as I fastened them at my waist. I didn't plan to stand before the prince. I wasn't foolish enough to dream that far. I only wanted to see, to stand among the crowd, to feel the drums beat through my feet, to watch other girls dance as if the gods themselves had touched them. I tiptoed toward the gate. The latch was cold beneath my fingers. Then, the door crashed open. Besa stood in the doorway, her entuma loose, her hair wild from sleep, but her eyes sharp with fury.
Where are you going?
Her voice cracked like a whip.
Auntie,
Her hand seized my arm, yanking me back. The beads at my waist clinged together, betraying me.
You think the prince wants to see you? You, with nothing to your name, with a body that brings shame to this house. You want to disgrace me in front of the whole village?
Her words grew louder, filling the yard, pulling neighbors from their doorways. Shadows gathered at the walls, whispers rising. Agudie and Sewa peeked from their room, smirking at the scene. Besa's palm cracked against my cheek. The sound echoed. Before I could breathe, she dragged me across the courtyard, past the water pots, past the fire, into the goods shed. The smell of dung and straw filled my nose as she shoved me inside and slammed the door. She rolled a log across it, her voice hissing through the cracks.
You want a prince? You marry a goat. Stay there until the sun burns you clean. Oh, dang!
Her footsteps stormed away, the night swallowing them. I pressed against the rough wall, trembling, my chest hollowing out with each breath. The compound burst outside, full of songs and laughter. The festival air had not dimmed, but for me, the world had narrowed to darkness, straw and silence. The goat shed was small and stifling. The walls leaned inward, rough with splinters, scattered with old straw that smelled of dung. Each breath came heavy, as though the darkness itself weighed on my chest. I curled into the corner, my knees tight against me. The laughter and songs of the village still floated through the air, muffled but cruel, a world moving on without me. Time dragged, the shed held no hours, only silence. Then the air shifted, like the way a storm announces itself, without thunder, or the way a room feels when someone steps in behind you. My skin prickled. In the far corner of the shed stood a woman. She was wrapped in layers of kente, so old the patterns had faded. She didn't blink, she didn't speak, she just stood there. I wanted to cry out, but my throat locked. My body refused to move. When her voice came, it was soft, yet it filled every shadow.
Agudie.
My heart thudded. No one had called me that in years. Her eyes, dark, endless, stayed fixed on mine.
Your story is not finished.
She said, each word clear and deliberate. She knelt beside me. The straw didn't stir. Even the smell of thanks seemed to fade. From her arms, she placed a small bundle on the ground. A beautiful golden red dress. Flat sandals woven from palm bark. A string of beads carved from old wood, glowing faintly as if the forest itself had breathed into them. I stared, unable to lift my hands, unable to speak. The woman's face softened, just slightly. The trace of a smile ghosted across her lips. Then she was gone, just like that. She vanished, as though she had stepped out of sight, and the world had swallowed her quietly. The shed was empty again, but it was no longer the same. When dawn broke and Besa came to unbar the door, fire still in her eyes, she flung it open and froze. Her mouth moved but no words came. The shed was bare. The straw was still. I was gone. The morning of the festival, the village paused like a living drum. Banners of cloth flapped high between poles. Smoke from roasted meat curled into the air, carrying scents of spice and palm wine. The air trembled beneath the rhythm of 100 drummers whose hands moved like lightning. Everyone was there, farmers in their best intimates, elders leaning heavy on canes, children clinging to their mothers. Even strangers from distant hamlets had come, filling the field until it seemed the earth itself might split beneath so many feet. At the center sat the prince. He wore deep green, trimmed in gold. His face was unreadable, calm, stern, but his eyes searched the crowd with a hunger no one could mistake. One by one, the maidens came forward. They sparkled in lace and silk, their hair threaded with gold, their skin glowing with oil. Each step was practiced, each smile rehearsed. They swayed to the drums, hips rolling like waves, eyes lowered in just the right way. The crowd cheered, mothers wept, fathers lifted their heads higher with pride. I stood at the edge, unseen, hidden behind the press of bodies. The golden red dress clung to me, plain and unadorned. The sandals at my feet whispered against the dust. The beats at my waist felt alive, warm against my skin. I told myself I came only to watch, to breathe the same air, to feel the drums thunder through my chest. But as the last maiden smiled and bowed, silence swept the grounds. The prince leaned forward, his eyes scanning, expectant, as if he knew something. Someone was missing. And in that silence, my feet moved. I stepped from the shadows into the open air. Gasps rippled through the crowd. She came.
Is that not Besa's girl?
Who is she? My heart pounded, but my shoulders stayed high. I walked barefoot, each step steady, the dress hugging my body like a goddess. I did not paint my lips. I wore no gold. Yet when the drums began again, they did not lead me. I led them. My body moved, not with practiced sways or rehearsed bows, but with something older, something deeper. Each step spoke. Each turn was memory carved into motion. The crowd quieted. The whispers thinned. Even the children pressed closer to their mothers. The prince's eyes fixed on me. Unblinking, I felt the earth tremble against my feet. The beat of the drums folding into the beat of my heart. And in that moment, I was not Abaawa. I was not Besa's burden. I was Agudie. When the drums stilled, the silence was heavy enough to crush the air. I stood at the center, the dust warm beneath my feet, every eye fixed on me. For a moment, no one spoke. It was as though the village itself had forgotten how to breathe. Then a voice broke the silence.
That one.
Adra stepped forward, her face twisted with triumph and venom. Her intoma glittered, but her eyes burned only for me. That's the cripple from our compound! The word landed like a slap. Gas spread through the crowd. Hairs turned sharply. The silence cracked into a storm of whispers. She's the one who hides her hand. I have never seen it. Why does she always keep it wrapped? Maybe it's rotten. Sure, maybe it's witchcraft. Why? The questions pressed against me like hands shoving from every side. Children clung to their mothers. Old men frowned, their eyes narrowing. The circle closed in. I felt the weight of their stares, the fear, the disgust, the hunger for scandal. The air grew thick with it.
Let us see it. If she wants to stand here, let her come home.
A man shouted, his scarred cheek gleaming with sweat.
Yes, let her show it.
Another voice echoed, bolder now, feeding on the frenzy. Hands reached forward, tugging at my cloth, pulling me closer to the center. The world spun with noise, laughter, shouts, whispers, sharp as knives. My chest burned, my knees trembled. Every part of me screamed to run, but the prince had no move. He watched, still as stone, his eyes locked on me. I pressed my arm tight against myself, my body curling inward as the crowd swarmed. Voices rose.
Show it.
Let us see. Prove yourself now.
The dust rolled at my feet. The drums lay silent, waiting. I closed my eyes. The noise pounded in my head. For a moment, I was back in the forest. The snap of iron, the smell of blood, the silence after the scream. And then, the world held its breath again. The knot slipped. The cloth fell. Gasps ripped through the air. Sharp and endless. I froze, my chest tight, waiting for the laughter, for the insults, the stones. My eyes clenched shut against the shame I had carried for years. But what came was not laughter. It was silence, heavy, awestruck. I opened my eyes, and for a moment, I thought I was dreaming. My hand, the hand I had hidden, hated, wrapped 1,000 times, was not twisted, not broken, not ruined. It was gold, not the dull yellow of coins, but a living gold that caught the sunlight and flung it back. Brighter, sharper, every line gleamed as though carved by the gods themselves. It burned against my skin, against my eyes, until I almost pulled away from myself. I stumbled back, my breath caught.
No, it cannot be.
But the crowd had already fallen. Mothers pressed their foreheads into the dust. Elders dropped to their knees, their lips spelling trembling prayers. Children clung to their mothers, their eyes wide with fear and wonder. An old woman near the front stretched her shaking arms toward me. Hey, Nana, she whispered, her voice breaking. The chief followed, his voice thick, carrying over the stunned crowd.
When a creature suffers long enough, the gods bless it beyond measure.
The members swept like wind through dry leaves. Oh, reverence, worship. And there, Besa, her face was pale, her mouth open, trembling, as though the words she wanted had died on her tongue. Her daughters clashed each other, their painted lips drained of color. I looked down again, staring at the hand I had hidden all my life. The gold shimmered back at me. My heart pounded so hard, I thought I might collapse.
This cannot be mine.
I whispered inside myself, but it was, and for the first time in years, the world saw me. The prince rose from his stool, slowly, deliberately, his eyes locked on me, and the gold that glowed in my hand. Each step he took into the dust was steady, reverent, as though he approached something holy. And then, before everyone, before elders, before mothers, before Besa's burning eyes, the prince lowered himself to his knees. The earth shook. A prince kneeling? For me? The world held its breath. The prince knelt before me, his eyes never leaving the gold that shimmered where my shame had once been. The dust curled around his sandals. The drum sat silent, as though afraid to interrupt. When he rose, the hush deepened. He turned to the circle of elders. His voice, when it came, was calm, but it carried like thunder.
This is not a curse. This is blessing. This is survival made sacred. This is royalty.
He said. Each word landed heavy, cutting through the murmurs. The elders exchanged glances. One reached for the scroll, unrolling it with trembling fingers.
But she is not on the list,
he whispered, voice low, but not low enough. The prince's gaze sharpened.
Then the list is wrong.
Gasps rippled through the crowd. Mothers pressed closer to their daughters. Fathers leaned forward, waiting. The prince turned to me. His expression softened, though his voice remained strong.
What is your name?
The question struck me like a stone. For years, Besa's voice had ruled my life. Abaawa, slave, nothing. But here, before the crowd, before the prince, my chest lifted, my lips parted, trembling as the name rose from the deep place where I had kept it safe.
Agudie,
I whispered.
Agudie Trema.
The syllables shook in the air, fragile but alive. The prince repeated it, slowly, reverently, as if he was staining it into the earth itself.
Agudie.
Then he turned to the people.
I choose her.
The silence shattered. Some wept openly. Others fell flat on their faces, wailing with awe. The drummers struck their hands against skin, and the rhythm that followed was unlike anything I had ever heard. Fierce, rising, unstoppable. I stood frozen, the drums pounding through me. My heart beat to the rhythm, my body trembling not with fear, but with something greater. The prince stepped to my side. He did not touch me yet. He only stood there, tall, steady, as if declaring with his presence that no one would ever strip my name again. Voices rose, high and breaking, chanting my name, not Abaawa, not servant, but the name my parents had given me. Agudie, Agudie Papebi, Agudie Ahonfe, Agudie Sika, Agudie Trema. He led me forward, through the crowd that parted as though the earth itself was making way. The prince turned to the stool, carved from the sacred wood, polished by generations of rulers. On it sat the crown, thick gold, heavy with symbols, kissed by time. He lifted it slowly. My chest rose, my breath shallow. Could this be mine? Could the girl who had been called slave, who had stepped on mats and eaten scraps, truly be meant for this? The prince lowered the crown gently onto my head. It fit. Of course it did. The crowd erupted. Some clapped until their palms reddened. Some wept into their entombments. Others fell to the ground, wailing praises to the gods. Agudie Trema, Ohima Nisayi Sika. Far at the back, I caught sight of Besa. Her shoulders slumped, her face pale, her lips moving soundlessly. Adra and Sewa pressed close to her, their eyes wide with something colder than fear. They were small now, erased by the noise of my name. The drums rose higher, the crowd sang louder, and for the first time since the forest, I did not feel broken. I felt crowned.